Well, Matt, it's time to review more slasher movies of people slashing each other open for fun.
Oh, this isn't one of those kind of movies. This is like a really deep, meaning movie, like behind reasons for murder.
Oh, so this isn't Friday the 13th or Halloween?
Welcome back, guys. I'm Matt.
And I'm Micah, and today we'll be doing a movie review for the film Censor. Censor was directed by Prano Bailey Bond and stars Niamh Algar as Enid Baines, Nicholas Burns as Sanderson, and Michael Smiley as Doug Smart. Can you tell us a little bit more about the plot summary for Censor?
Censor follows the main character Enid, who is a film censor for, I'm not sure what corporation, but it's like the government body that reviews all the films in the UK. They didn't say exactly where it was being filmed at, but her job is to see these gory movies, or I guess any movie really, and give them a rating or decide, hey, you know what, this can't air to the public. And the reason they do all this is because the government fears that people will see these gore movies if they're not censored and then recreate those murders, which is kind of bizarre when you think about it, but I guess that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically follows her doing this, and she's had some trauma in the past with her. I think it was her sister, wasn't it? She said her sister, when she was a kid, disappeared somehow. Like, they're not sure exactly what happened to her, but she disappeared. And Enid sees this film she's reviewing by this mysterious director named Frederick Church. And this film almost recreates what she saw when she was a kid and lost her sister. So this brings her to some kind of spiraling, like, tunnel vision where she thinks, you know, I gotta find this director. He's got my sister. So it's quite an interesting art piece, I'd say. It's a very indie film for sure.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's kind of maybe just her slow decline of her mental health. She seems like a normal person in the beginning, and then like certain things happen to a point where she's just wanting to find her sister, and she'll do almost anything to get to that point. So yeah, I thought it was a really good movie though.
They did show at the beginning that she had some maybe like anxieties or something. Like they would show her like talking to her parents, and her parents always asking her like, "Are you okay?" And she'd be sitting at like the restaurant with her family, and she'd be like twitching with her fingers, and they'd focus on that, showing that yes, she's stressed out, she's being anxious. So I feel like this film as well was like the name was a double entendre. Like, yes, she's a film censor, but also at the same time, her trauma in the past, she was censoring herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that film by Frederick Church, that director, really reawakened like her trauma from the past. In my opinion, I felt this movie was really slow for me for like probably 80% of the film. It's a slow burner. I almost lost my attention. Like, I was thinking like they're trying to follow the story of Enid and trying to get her sister back, but then she would like go talk to her coworkers for just random stuff, and it didn't really add to the plot in my opinion. Like when she goes to talk to her coworkers, there's like, hey, what's up? And they just have a little conversation, and then it's like, okay, it doesn't add to the plot. They're just talking.
I do agree with you. Like sometimes points in the beginning, like you really have to focus on it for sure. But it's one of those movies where it builds towards the end of what is going to be happening.
I thought it was filmed on actually they recreated like I guess old school. They're called video nasties. Like that's like old school, like really horror, like gory films. And they shot this film on 35 millimeter film, but also 8 millimeter film. And later in the movie, there's like a shift they do when stuff starts getting really crazy. It goes from like the perspective shifts from like, you probably noticed it, right? Like it was full frame, and then over the course of like 10 minutes or so, when stuff's getting really crazy, the perspective's like shrinking, putting you in the film for sure.
I don't know if you agree with this, but it's like maybe focusing, because there's been so many things that have happened in the past like 10, 20 years based on like people blaming like fake stuff like movies and video games on people actually committing real murders and stuff like that. I don't know if you agree with that. I feel like it was kind of touching on that, and people not being able to differentiate between the two, like real life and I guess fiction, basically.
Yeah, I felt like that was part of the plot, where there was some like films that got out and then people recreated the murders they saw. And I think you're right, it does touch on that, but I think as well it was supposed to be like pushing the plot forwards and just saying like, hey, you know, it's questionable, like, did they really murder someone, or was that the movie they murdered somebody for real? What did you think of the acting in the movie?
I thought the main actress, Niamh Algar, was pretty good. I've never seen her in anything else, but she seemed to, like, I've never seen any of her other stuff, but she seemed to be a really good actress, and you kind of see her almost descent into madness in the movie. So I'm probably going to be checking out more of what she's done. And I don't know, I was kind of like not really expecting too much of the acting, but I thought it was pretty adequate for, I don't know, like, I don't think any of the actors are really well known or anything like that. Like, I think Niamh Algar is maybe starting to ascend to being more of a bigger actor. And the other actors, like Michael Smiley, he played one of the guys who, I guess he was a producer for the horror films or something like that. He was like super creepy throughout, and I thought his acting was really good. And I find it's maybe easier for some of these actors to be playing more of a creepy, like, you know, more serious character compared to like the nicer characters, because it's easier for them. But I thought he did a really good job, and I guess there's not like too many other people that have speaking roles in the movie besides Enid's parents. They were like adequate for what they had to be. They just basically were talking with her throughout the movie, and I thought they were good. I don't know, what did you think of the acting?
I agree with what you said there, man. That's basically what I would say about that too. Like, Niamh Algar's acting was good. Definitely felt her portrayal of the anxiety and the mental health issues she was going through in the movie. So no complaints from me. Everything seemed pretty well acted. Like, there wasn't a time where I felt that this person was acting poorly or could have been better.
Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
I would say if you like indie movies or like really artsy, kind of out there movies, this would be a good movie to watch. But if you're looking for something that's really gonna like draw your attention and keep you interested, maybe you won't like this movie. It, like I said, it's super slow for the first like 80% of the movie. What about you?
Basically, I guess just super slow until like right at the end of the movie. So overall, it's a good movie, but you gotta like these kind of indie artsy movies. It seems super artsy.
Yeah, this is one of those films I feel like are made for like movie critics and people who are really into artsy movies. And I feel like personally the ratings are maybe skewed higher because of that than it should be.
It got pretty high on Rotten Tomatoes.
It did. Wasn't it like 84% or something like that?
Probably give it like 65, 70.
Yeah, maybe like a 6 out of 10.
It's not like something I'd be like, oh, I want to watch that again, you know?
Yeah, personally I wouldn't watch it again. But if you're into artsy movies, definitely check it out.
If you're an artsy fartsy type.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
If you have any other movies you'd like us to review, let us know in the comment section down below.